Hi, and in today's Microsoft Word tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this editable form so that you can fully customize it, put in all the different information that you need, and allows your client or your user to be able to simply go into the form and type the information they need to, and then just simply send the file back to you. So let's get started. So we're going to start with our A4 piece of paper, and we're firstly going to adjust the margins of our page. Currently, by default, if we go up to the Layout tab, you'll find that your margins will be around about 2.5 centimetres wide. But what we want to do to increase the amount of information we can get on our page, then we want to make those margins as small as possible. So if we go out to the Layout tab up here, go to the Margins icon, click on the drop down, and I'm going to select Narrow. And as you can see, it just reduces your margins down to just over 1 centimetre. Next thing I want to do is add the title. So if you just want a simple title in the middle of your document, then you can just simply go ahead and put a title in, highlight it, increase the font by using this icon here. You can make it bold and also underline it. If you want to put it at the centre of your document, then just click the Centre Alignment button here. And there's your title. But for this particular demonstration, I'm actually going to put my title in a text box. That way I can move it around anywhere I want in my form. So I'm just going to highlight that, and I'm just going to press Command or Control C to copy it so that I can put it straight into a text box. Then I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go to the Insert tab, go along to Text Box, click on the drop down and click Draw Text Box. And I'm just going to simply click and drag. My cursor's inside my text box, and I'm just going to click Command or Control V. Now this has automatically centered the title in my text box, but I'm just going to go up to the Home tab, click on my title and just left align it. And then I'm just going to reduce the size of my text box. If I click off, you can see I've got a border around my text box which I don't want. So if I select my text box, click on Shape Format, go to this icon here which is the Outline tab, click on the drop down and click No Outline. Now I can move my text box anywhere around my document. So I'm just going to pop my title up here, and then perhaps there's some description or text that you want to put in text box around about here to give the reader some information. Again, I'm going to put that text into a text box because it allows me to move it around the document, and I'm just going to select some random text. When I do this, it makes quite a lot of text, so I'm just going to extend that out a second and then just get rid of half of that just for demonstration purposes. And then again, I can move this around anywhere I want to. So I'm just going to get rid of a little bit more text and then reduce the size of my text box. Again, if I click off, you can see I've got a border. Select the text box, go up to Shape Format, click on the drop down here, click No Outline. And that way we can just move these around any way we want to. Just click off that a second. We can move these around any way we want to, and we can also align them. So if we click on this text box, we hold down the Command or Control key, click on this text box around the title, and you can see it's highlighted both text boxes. If you go up to Shape Format and then along to this tab here which says Align, click on the drop down and click Align to Left. Now mine were already lined up, but if we just move this, but if I just move this text box and then highlight this text box, go to Shape Format. Now if I align to left, you can see what's happened is that's aligned these two lines here perfectly, which means that this set of text and this set of text is lined up. The next thing I'm going to do is just add a quick logo. So I'm going to go up to the Insert tab, go to Picture, Picture from File, click on my logo, click Insert. And then now what happens here sometimes is that you'll find that your picture or logo will not be able to move particularly well and will be a bit clunky when you try to move it. So all we need to do is to go to the wrap text, make sure that your logo is highlighted and you're in the picture format tab. Go to wrap text, click on the drop down and just click in front of text. Then you can move this around any way you want to, and then you can also use your arrow keys to just move it to exactly where it suits you. Click off and then you've got your logo here. Now the next part of this form will be a table. If you want somebody to be able to edit this form, then you're going to have to select tables, because it allows you to control where your user will place the information you want them to fill out. So let's go ahead and insert a table, and then I can show you exactly what I mean. So if you go up to the Insert tab, go to the table icon, click on the drop down, and we're just going to select 4x4. Tables are really versatile, so I can adjust all the widths and the heights and the lengths and the colours of this table to suit my needs. But at the moment, all I'm going to do is I'm going to look at just adjusting this top row here. So I just want to make this row a little bit wider. So I highlight the row. I then go to Layout. And then I go down to this icon here that says Height. And I'm just going to go to this up arrow here and just click until the height of that row suits me. And then I want the text of this row to actually line up along the bottom of this cell here. So I'm going to go up to these cells here, these icons here, and then I'm just going to hit this bottom left tab here, align to bottom left. Then if I just type in some text, you can just see it's lined up here. Now I can obviously increase the size of this text if I want to. Now if I want my user to write in this box here, then I'm going to move this line here along to the end of this text. So I'm going to highlight these two cells. I'm going to just select this central icon here, central line, and I'm just going to move it along to here. So when your user comes in to use this form, they're not going to try and write the reference in here. They will click on this box here and type it along here. Now if you want your user to type it into the center of this box, then all you need to do, go up to the Layout tab and then just use one of these icons to highlight where you want the text to lie when your user's typing. So if we selected this one here, it will mean that when your user clicks on here and types, the text will be the center left alignment of that cell. Again, if you want the same for this text here, then just click this one here. And then in this one here, we can do the same. We can highlight these two and actually go up to this one here. I think it looks better in the middle actually. I know I originally put it down at the bottom, but I think it looks better in the middle. And then I'm just putting in some random text here. It doesn't really mean anything, but obviously you'll specify and customize this form for your needs. Just make that uppercase. Okay, now you can move all of these cells. So if you just decided actually the reference number is not going to be that long, so let's just move this line here. You just need to highlight the cells left and right. Just click the central line and drag until you're happy, and then of course you can give the user more room to type the job application name. Again, I want to move this line, so I'm just going to move this line to the left here. Now of course if you don't want a line in between these two cells, then you can just highlight these two cells here, go up to Table Design, and then you have to play around with this section here, which is the borders. You click on the drop down, you can see all of these are ticked because all of the borders are available. Now, if I didn't want this middle one here, then I've got to go and uncheck this inside vertical border here. So if I uncheck that, you can see the line between these two cells has vanished, but they are still two cells. So if your user clicks here, then obviously they will type their job application name there, but it means you don't have a line. Okay, and so you want to give somebody the option of ticking a box. So this can get a little bit more complicated, but it is simple when you know how. So the first thing we're going to do is to get rid of 3 cells, and we're going to merge them into one. So highlight the 3 cells, go up to Layout, and then go along to this icon here that says Merge Cells. So now what we're going to do is we're going to introduce some additional boxes into here to allow people to tick those boxes to say where they've heard about the job role. But actually looking at it, this row here is actually a little bit too small. So we're going to increase the height. So we're just going to highlight the 2 rows, go up to Layout, again along to height, and we're just going to increase that height a little bit more. And then we'll just select that text. We'll go up to this icon here just to align it to the center left again. You can of course put this in the middle, you can put this text anywhere you want to, whatever suits you, it's really up to you. So all I'm going to do is just zoom in a little bit, and then what we want to do is to put some boxes in here. So if you move your cursor down to the bottom of the box, just press the return key just to give yourself a little bit of space, go up to the insert tab and go along to shapes, click on the drop down, and then just click this one here which looks like a square, it's called rectangle. Then click and drag whilst holding down the shift key to ensure that you get a perfect square. Now my square is going to be about this big. Now each of our shapes come as a default with a border and an internal colour. So I'm going to get rid of the colour in the middle, and to do that make sure your shape is highlighted. Go to the shape format, go along to shape fill here, click on the drop down and click no fill. And then for the outside, the border, I'm going to go along to this icon here, click on the drop down and click black. When I click off, you can now see that I'm left with this perfect square. Now I'm going to make 6 of these. So all I'm going to do is click on the shape, click Command or Control C, Command or Control V, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And then I'm going to simply drag and roughly place them where I want them in my cell, because we can use the align tool to line these up shortly. So before we line all those up, we're just going to get the words in that will go with each box. So again, I'm going to use the text box because they're brilliant. Go to the insert tab, along to text box, click on the drop down, draw text box, and all I'm going to do is just draw out a simple text box. And then I'm just going to select all the different texts that need to go in here, and while I do that I'm just going to speed up the video. Okay, now that I've written all of the different text that I need in these text boxes, I'm just going to get rid of all the borders. Okay, I'm just going to click and just drag them up to where I want them, whatever order you want them in. Again, you don't have to worry about being too careful at the moment. So now what we need to do is align everything. So, and don't worry about too much about this text box that's going over the top of here, we can sort that out as well. Now the first thing we're going to do is just line up these squares here. So click on the square and just click on the top row ones by holding down the Command or Control key. Make sure you're on Shape Format, go along to the Align tab, click on the drop down, and we're just going to click Distribute Horizontally. And that's just going to distribute them evenly with equal distance between them. Then we want to align them to the top so they all line up along the top of the squares. Again, go up to Alignment and click Align to Top. And those squares are now all lined up. Again, do that with the squares at the bottom. Align, distribute horizontally, align, align to top. And again, they're now all perfectly lined up. Again, we'll do exactly the same with the text. And all we're going to do with these is align to top. And again, align to top. Now, in some cases, when this happens, you may not be happy with where they're lined up, which is absolutely fine. So, for example, this C here, I would like sort of in the middle of this box here. Then all I need to do is just click on the text and then use my arrow key. And then I can just move this to where I want it. I'm just going to move my arrow key to just adjust that slightly. Now, as you can see, the white background of this text box covers up the box. So what we're going to do is get rid of that white background. Click on the text box, up to Shape Format, click Shape Fill, click on the drop down and click No Fill. And there you've got a completely transparent box. Again, I'm just going to move this newspaper one along slightly. So it's sort of in the middle of that box. And then again, just move this one down a bit. You can move it across, but I'm going to align those two in a second, so don't worry too much about that. And then just nudge that up. Okay, so again, highlight those text boxes, go to the Align tab, and then we will align to middle. Okay, and now they're all lined up to this middle square here. So all the middle squares line up. Now we want to ensure that they're lined up top and bottom here. So you can get them as close as you want to, but then if you just highlight the two text boxes you want to line up, go to the Align tab, and we're going to align to left. Now, when you're in the alignment tool, just make sure it says Align Selected Objects. Make sure it's not aligned to the margins or aligned to the page, because it will start aligning over here somewhere. So just click Align to Left. And as you can see again, these two boxes, or these set of boxes here, are all lined up. Again, the white background of this text box is over the top of this box here. So we just get rid of that, Shape Format, oops, Shape Fill, No Fill. And again with these two, we'll just highlight them. These two are quite close to the boxes here, so I can just nudge them along. They jump around the page, just click Command or Control Z and it will just take you back one step. So now I'm going to use the arrow key and just nudge them along. Again, I've got that background again that I don't want. And then again, if I just highlight the two, go to Align and Align to Left, again all the boxes line up here and I'm happy with that. Again, I'm going to move these over slightly. And this one over. And just click the No Fill again up here. I'm going to highlight the two and align to the left. And again, those are lined up. Let's just zoom out. So now what we've got is we've got all of our boxes that your user can tick. Now if you want to enter some more information in here and ask your user to put some information in a box here. Now if you want your user to put a lot of information into a box and be able to type it, then we've actually got to use several rows for that. So clearly we need to get rid of the 3 cells and just reduce this down to 1. So we highlight them, go to Layout and click Merge Cells. Now if you're asking the user to put several sentences in, then obviously they're not going to fit it all in here. So in order that you give them that space and that your form all fits in one, then you just need to insert a return key according to how much space you want to create. Then with this section here, highlight your text, go along to this section here and click center here. Now we're just going to put in another area here which may occur on a form. And we just simply want some yes/no answers and please specify if they've answered yes. So again, we're going to reduce this down to one cell. Make sure on the Layout tab, click Merge Cells. Now because we've created these before, we can actually use these shapes now that we've created them and just simply copy and paste them. So I'm going to highlight the box, try this one. Let's just go to the Home tab, copy, move to here, click paste. There we go. Then we can move that with our arrow key and then just click off that and just press paste again. And then again, I'm just going to use my arrow keys just to move down there. And then again, I can line these up. Let's just zoom in just to make this a bit easier. And then I'm going to align them again, so go up to Shape Format, and I'm just going to align to top. Okay, good, they're already aligned. And I'm going to use these text boxes again because the borders have been taken out, the background's been taken out, and it's all been customized. So again, I'm just going to copy, move my cursor, and then paste. Just move that box there and then just double click into my text box and then just type no. Reduce that down and then pop it back there. And then I'm going to copy and paste that and then just copy, move my cursor and paste. Move that to here. Double click inside, then type yes. Now I want to put a please specify area along here. So I'm just going to move this box over. We don't need that much space. Move this box over. I'll go back and check the alignment shortly. And then I'm going to use another text box, copy, paste, double click inside, please specify. Now, in order for them to be able to type next to this section here, we actually do need another cell here. If they try and click here, what's going to happen is they're going to highlight the text box. And even if they click here, the cursor's going over here. What we want is the cursor to go over here. So if we highlight this cell and then just go to Layout and then just go to this tab here that says Split Cells, this dialog box will appear and I just want 2 columns. Just stay at 1 row and click OK. And then you've got this line here that you can move. So once this is all highlighted, if you just highlight the 2 cells, you can actually move this line if you wish to do so. Sometimes you'll have to move the text box, then click on this, move the line, then move the text box back. Okay, so now we've highlighted the 2 cells, we just move the line. Now, if this is slightly confusing for your user because it has this line here, then we can take the line out, but what we have got is still 2 cells. So although the line is invisible, your user will be able to just simply click and begin to type. So what we need to do is highlight the 2 cells again, go up to Table Design, go along to the borders icon, click on the drop down and then uncheck Inside Vertical Border and that line will disappear, but there's still 2 cells. So when your user goes into Type Please Specify, then they can just begin to type here. Now, just to ensure these are all lined up, we can just click on each one holding down the Command or Control key, go to Shape Format, along to Align, and we're going to align to middle. So all those central boxes here will be aligned. You can obviously adjust these, you can adjust the text, or you can, so for example, on this box here, if we double click Command or Control A to highlight everything, we can go to the Home tab and we can actually put this in bold. If it disappears, just stretch it out slightly because it's just increased in size. And then when your user hits that section there, then they can begin to type. And once again, if you want your user to type to the middle, then just highlight the cell, put the cursor in that cell, go up to Layout, and then just select from here which element of the alignment you want. So if you want it to the center but the left, then click that one. And then when they begin to type, then they type into the center. And it really depends on how much information you want them to give in this section. Let's just zoom out. And there's our form so far. So the next section is perhaps some personal information you want your client to give about themselves, such as their address. So again, if we just use our cursor and then just move it down the page and leave a little gap between this section here and the next table. So for the next table, I'm going to insert, go down to the drop down, and I'm going to insert 8 by 3. So in this section, we're going to work on the personal information of the client, such as their name and address. So I want this to be a highlighted section, so I want this cell here to be a different colour. So I've highlighted the cell, table design, go to this section here that says shading, click on the drop down, and then I'll just turn this particular cell grey. And then I just want this cell to be a little bit taller. So again, up to Layout, Height, and click the up arrow until I'm happy. And then this text here into the middle of my cell. So again, I go along to this one here, and it puts it into the middle of my cell. Now if I want it completely in the middle of the cell, then I just go to this one here. And for the rest of this, I think we'll put these in the center as well, but aligned to the left. So here we'll just put title, and then we'll just move this line here over to the left so that they know that they need to type in this section here. And then here, generally I think that the cell heights for the cells are generally a bit too narrow. So I'm just going to highlight all of them, check I'm on the Layout tab, just increase the size to 0.7, and then to align the text to the center of the cell. And then I'm going to reduce these two cells to 1 by merging them. So I highlight them and then make sure I'm in the Layout tab and click Merge Cells. Then go to Surname. Oh. Again, get rid of these two cells, merge them. Now the reason that it's easier to merge the cells is because often you don't know how many cells you'll need. So it's easier just to merge them than just to keep splitting them all along. Now you can do it that way if you want to, it's completely up to you. So merging or splitting cells, it doesn't matter. Now in this one, you'll want their address. So I'm actually going to merge these 3 cells here and then just write address here. So I'm just going to merge the cells, write address there, and I'm going to give them 2 full boxes here to write their address. And then I'm just going to type postcode here or zip code, and then just move this line here over so they know where to put that. And here again we want telephone numbers, and we might want a variety of different telephone numbers. So again I'm going to merge these two cells. And then we can put home in here. And then when your user uses this, they'll just click next to there and they can begin to type. And then you can take this cell out if you want to and just merge this one. You don't have to. And then you've got those 3 telephone numbers there. Now, sometimes you might not want to use tables, and that's absolutely fine. You can just continue to use boxes and text boxes. So, for example, if you wanted a section where you just wanted a series of these check boxes, so you can just simply add in something here. It doesn't give you the level of flexibility that putting this into a text box will, because of course you can move this around and align it. But we can just go ahead and do that. And then we can copy and paste these boxes. So again, copy the box, move your cursor, paste, and then again we can copy and paste a number of these boxes. Let's just do 3 of them for now. And let's just align those. Go to Shape Format, Align, go to Distribute horizontally, so now they're equally distributed. And then let's just align to top, so now they're all perfectly aligned. Then again, if you select a text box that we've done before, because again it's taken out the borders, taken out the background, and then just copy, move the cursor, paste, then we can use this to insert as much information as we need to. We double click inside there, Command or Control A to highlight the text, and then put in any text that's required for this section. Now, if you don't want this section to take up too much room, then you can always reduce the size of the text. Go up to the Home tab, and you can use this icon here, which is Decrease Font Size. And again, you can just reduce that down. If there isn't one that suits your needs, you can just simply put in the value in this section here. And then just reduce the size of that box, or decrease it if you want the text to move further across, depending on how much room you want this section to take up. Once you've done that, you just highlight the text box. We're just going to move that up slightly so it's in the middle of this checkbox. Command or Control C, Command or Control V, and then once again, once you've got them roughly in the centre again, we can just hold down the Command or Control key and highlight those 3 boxes, go to Shape Format, click on the drop down of the Align tool and Align to Middle. And those there will all be perfectly lined up. Now if again you wanted them distributed equally horizontally, click on the drop down and Distribute horizontally, and they will be equally set apart. Now you can obviously see here that the gap between this checkbox and this text here is not the same as these two, and that's absolutely fine. All we need to do is just use the arrow keys, move them over slightly, like that. Now the other way to do this, to ensure that you can do this in a slightly quicker way, is to actually, we just take these out. I'm going to show you how to use groups, which is another fantastic tool. So once you've customized this section, so your text is exactly the right size and your text box is the right size and the distance between these two are correct, and let's say you align these two and align them to the center or align to middle. If you're happy with exactly the way that looks, you can actually highlight both of these and go up to this tab here called Group, click on the drop down and click Group. And magically that becomes one group. And then what you can do is you can copy and paste that group, and again, and then you can edit these. I'll go back to how you edit these in a second, but the first thing to do is align every single one perfectly. So highlight them again by clicking on the Command or Control key and clicking on each text box or group. Go to the alignment and align to middle. So now you can see all of these text boxes are perfectly aligned to the middle. Now, obviously you're going to want to change the text here. So highlight this group, go up to the Group tab and click Ungroup. And now you can just simply go in and increase, decrease and change the text here. So let's put change text here. And then again with this section, go to Group, Ungroup, double click, Command or Control A to highlight. Now, if you've only got one line and it looks a little bit odd, then you can just reduce the size of this, and you'll feel that it actually clicks into place when it has its correct dimensions. Command or Control and click on the text box, go to Align, Align to Middle. Right, that's pulled it up. So if we go back, click off, highlight this box here and just move it down until you're happy. So it's the same distance away from the text box. It's just now in the center aligned like the rest of these boxes. Now once you've done this and you're happy with it, and you want to just be able to move this around anywhere as a section, then of course what you can do is highlight everything, go up to Group and click Group. And now you've got an entire group of text and boxes and information that you can move around your form, and you don't need to worry about misaligning all these different elements, because there's nothing worse than making up all these elements and trying to move them all around, and then you have to realign everything again, and it's just a real pain. So using groups can be a real asset when trying to create these forms. Now if you want this lined up with this table here, then just use your arrow keys to just move left or right, and then just click off and zoom out to check you're happy. Perfect. Now if you wanted an additional section here, very quick way to do it, if it looks very similar to this and you're happy to use this, then what you can do is highlight this table, then go up to the Home tab and copy it, move your cursor, just move the cursor down. Don't worry about all this moving, because like I said before, working with groups is fab. You can just then move it up. And then click where you want that table to go and just click paste. And that table will then paste down here. And then if you want to go in and just change all this, let's say you needed other information, and it was driver's license, then all you need to do, oh, my cursor's not working today, just move this along. Then again, you can merge this if you want to, you don't have to, or you can put the tick boxes in here, it really doesn't matter. Again, I'm going to, let's go up here, I'm going to select one of these boxes here, click on copy, move my cursor and click paste, and then again, no, copy, move the cursor, click paste, and then just move that, and then again, copy, move the cursor and then paste, and then again click yes, copy, move the cursor and paste. Okay, and once we're happy, I'm just going to move that. So let's say I just wanted to move it around about here. We'll align it again as we always do. Now as you can see, this can be a little bit tricky at times and can be a little bit frustrating. So this is why groups are fantastic, because I'm only showing you this because it also it also shows you the problems that you can have and how temperamental these things can be. So again, let's just highlight these two, format shape, go to the alignment tab and align to the middle. Then I'm going to group them because I'm happy with exactly where they are. So I'm going to group them and that just saves them. So now when I move it around, they're together and I don't have to worry about it. Again, the no can be a little bit close to that box, and then click Command or Control and click up to the alignment tab and again align to middle, and then I'm going to group it again. So now we have two groups, and now we can just move these around and not have to worry about it. Now this element here, you don't have to worry too much about your client being able to edit it, because all they're going to do is insert a tick into this, and the way to insert that tick is to just use a symbol, and they can put the symbol in a text box and just pop the symbol over the top here. And then we'll put some more information here. Now, because this is another yes or no question, I'm actually going to highlight this group here, highlight this group here by hitting the Command or Control key, shape format. I'm going to turn the whole thing into a group. I'm going to then go to the Home tab, copy, move my cursor down, paste, and look at that, like magic. So it's a really simple way to make lots of the different boxes and then just move them around. You need to move them, don't forget, highlight the box or the group, then you can just move your arrow keys to move those elements. Let's just zoom out to check. Yep, happy with that. And then just some more information to finalize this form. Again, highlight that group, copy, paste, and just move that up. If you want these two to be perfectly aligned, again, highlight them both. I think they are aligned. Let's just misalign them so that you can see. Okay. So just align them both. Go to Shape Format, go to the Align, and I'm going to align them to center. And then just hit the down arrow and just move them both down slightly. There we go. I'm just going to click that one. Just click down. Sometimes it does some weird things. You can just see it's just slightly nudging. So again, here you'd probably want somebody to be able to type some information. You can actually section this off. So if you want a yes or no answer, you can again highlight this section here, put the yes or no box in here. Again, oh, don't quite know how that's happened. Let's just move that along a section. Just line these up again quickly. So what we can do is just nudge that up and then put if yes, please give details. And then we can reduce the size of this. Go to the Home tab and just reduce the size of the text. Yeah, we'll merge these as well. Perfect. So if yes, give details, and then your client can then just simply click on this part here. If you put two spaces in here, then it means that when they come to this form and they click up here, it will automatically put the cursor here. It won't put it here. And then they can just begin to type. And again, we can just take out this information. Let's merge these cells. And let's copy this again. And then place those. Actually, we could line it up with these here. And Shape Format, align to left. Nope, it doesn't like that. Line to center, yeah. There we go, and I'm just going to nudge that up a bit so it's in the centre of that cell. So as you can see, trying to put together an editable form isn't that challenging when you know how to use the tables. The important thing is giving the client a space, a cell to type in, and make that fairly obvious. And if it's not obvious, then you just need to move the lines in between your cells over to the end of your text. And then it makes it very clear that the client or the individual filling out the form just needs to type in the box next to it. In essence, you just need to be able to split and merge different cells, and then just use those groupings of all the different shapes and the text boxes in order to make up this kind of tick box element here. Again, you can change the colour and the sizes of any of these cells and all the tables and fully customise anything within this table. So I hope that's helped you. Good luck. I hope your forms come out well. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments below. And have a great day.